There, South Mississippi. This is meteorologist Aaron Colby. We do have a tornado warning in Jackson County, and this is a waterspout that is actively making landfall very close to Gaucher. If you're near Dauphin Drive or just north of there, you need to be moving to your safe place right now. As of right now, it looks like there's a little bit of debris on satellites and radar. On just radar. And it looks like we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground now, just south of Highway 90. Once again, this is moving along Dauphin Drive, and it's moving north very quickly. So let me go ahead and switch this over to the wind plot so you can see exactly where this is. The tightest rotation is crossing Highway 90 right now, just on the west side of Gaucher. Moving very north to the very quickly to the north. Dauphin Drive, Old Spanish Trail. Also, you have Gaucher Van Cleve Road in the path of this. Westgate Parkway, Collinswood Boulevard, I-10, and Gaucher Van Cleve Road. These are in the path of this storm, and once again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground now. I'm going to move over to our debris tracker using radar here, and you can see there's a lot of debris in the air moving along Ladner Road. This is just south of Old Spanish Trail. As of right now, this is, of course, this is about a minute behind now. So this is very likely quickly moving to the north. This is probably crossing Old Spanish Trail, moving across Highway 90 right now. This is very, very close to the Singing River Mall. If you live in that area, you have got to get in your safe place right now. We do have, this was a waterspout that made landfall very close to Gaucher and is moving inland very quickly. Once again, the intersection of 90 and Gaucher Van Cleve Road is where this rotation is currently located. Moving directly to the north, Singing River Mall, Gaucher Van Cleve Road, College Circle, School Road, Indian Point Parkway. These areas, you've got to be in your safe place right now. Let's go ahead and move. There's another storm right behind this that we're also keeping an eye on. I'm going to switch this back to radar, and you're going to see, I'm going to switch this over to just show me the past, let's go to the past 15 minutes here. And right behind this storm, there is another one, and you can see it right here. It's still offshore. This is the storm that did produce a waterspout very close to Horn Island. It's following the same path as the storm that the tornado warning is on. So it may not be completely over just yet. We are watching a second storm right behind this that could produce some pretty heavy rain. But as of right now, the focus is in southern Jackson County in Gaucher, where we do have an observed tornado, a confirmed tornado by radar, where we do have debris in the air. Let's see if we've gotten an update. We have not gotten the radar update on the debris tracker just yet, but this is moving very quickly. So especially if you are to the north of the intersection at Gaucher Van Cleve Road and Highway 90, you have got to be in your safe place right now. This is going to be Dauphin Road. This is going to be Westgate Parkway. This is very close to and north of where the Singing River Mall is. Kind of naming out a couple more roads directly in the path of this. Bayou Oaks Street and Northridge Drive. We also have Indian Point Road. It looks like a neighborhood back here. We do have Westgate Parkway, Fairwood Drive, Bridgegate Drive. These areas, you have got to be in your safe place. This is heading towards you. This is going to be crossing I-10 here within about the next 5 to 10 minutes. Once again, it is moving very quickly to the north. Martin Bluff Road, you're out ahead of this system, not quite there yet, but it is on its way. It's about 5 minutes away from there. We also have on the north side of I-10. If you're on the north side of I-10, you are still inside of this tornado warning. Hickory Hills. Of course, anywhere along very close to where Highway 57 meets Gaucher Van Cleve Road. That area is also still in the path of this storm, as it's going to be moving quickly to the north. I'm going to get a hail tracker on this as well. There is a very low threat for hail as of right now. And no, it does not look like there are any hail pieces being detected by radar. So that's a good thing. I also want to take a look at the winds with this system. So not only is there potentially a tornado, or a confirmed tornado now on the ground, we do have some fairly strong winds coming in with this storm as well. Let's see, kind of get a plot here along the south end of the storm. You can see many of these. There it is. Tornado warning does continue until 10 a.m. So that has been extended. Winds around 20 to 30 miles per hour back behind the storm. So that's on the weaker side of it, and also directly ahead of the second storm that is right behind that, which once again, we are tracking a second storm behind this one. Of course, that has produced a waterspout over very close to Horn Island, but as of right now, I'm also getting more words here from the National Weather Service. It does look like they are going to continue the tornado watch for a large area. I believe this is going to be all of South Mississippi still within that tornado watch. Let's go back to kind of the bigger picture here. Let me show you what else is going on across the area, because of course this is not the only storm. It's the most important one for sure, but especially north of this storm, we have several small thunderstorms moving through northern Jackson County, parts of George, parts of Stone. You're still getting a couple strong storms there. Not severe, but putting down some pretty heavy rainfall. Pearl River County, we had the storm move north. That's now passing Lumberton, so that is now exiting Pearl River County. That one was strong, but not severe. We also have one more storm. This is all the way down in Hancock County, a fairly strong storm. That one did produce a waterspout over in Louisiana, but it looks like that is also weakening as well. So that's some great news there. Let's go back in. Let's see if we can get an updated scan on this tornado that is moving through parts. Okay, there it is. So it has now crossed north of Highway 90. There is still debris being detected by radar. It's in the air just to the north side of the Singing River Mall. We are seeing, especially Gaucher, Van Cleve roads north of Highway 90. Right now, the radar is detecting that debris in the air directly over North Ridge Drive. So if you live in that area, you have this crossing over you right now. Areas to the north, that's where you're seeing most of the damage, or at least most of where areas in the path of the storm, you need to be definitely staying in your safe place. Once again, let me read off some more names in the path, in the direct path of this. Of course, we have a confirmed tornado that just crossed Highway 90. So if you're in Indian Point Road, we have Huntington Drive, Glen Cove Drive, we have Cali Road, we have Moss, where's this? Victoria Drive, Moss Hollow Drive, of course, Gaucher Van Cleve Road, Prince George Drive. These areas need to be in their safe place. You do have a confirmed tornado that just crossed Highway 90 heading north. This will be very close to I-10 here within about 10 minutes. This is moving once again fairly quickly to the north. Let's see if we can get a velocity. So you can see here the rotation has tightened still. So this is usually signs that this is definitely still on the ground, or potentially getting a little bit stronger. Let's see if we can get, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Of course, the red indicates wind moving away from the radar site, which this radar is in Mobile. Green is going to be winds moving towards it. You can see it's very, very tight rotation just north of the Singing River Mall right now, very, very close to Indian Point Road. I just got word from the National Weather Service in New Orleans that this tornado is still on the ground and does appear to be getting stronger, very, very close to the Gaucher High School. So if you're in that area, you have got to be in your safe place. We do have what is potentially a tornado already on the ground, showing signs of maybe getting just a little bit stronger, looking at these radar images and looking at what I'm receiving from the National Weather Service. I'm also going to keep a close eye out for damage reports. I have not seen any yet, but of course with a tornado on the ground, and debris definitely in the air as seen on radar, I do expect that we might see some damage indicators here soon. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this live stream is going out as well. Let's go ahead and check that. Okay. So yeah, let's keep on looking very closely at this rotation. So once again, this is an observed tornado. That does mean that there is a tornado on the ground. And of course, I just heard from the National Weather Service in New Orleans that they do have indications that this is probably strengthening based on these radar images. That red and that green getting a little bit closer together, staying a little bit stronger for a longer period of time. Let's see. I do believe if a director is listening to me in my earpiece, I do believe Mima just said that it is visible on an MDOT cam I-10 west of Pascagoula River Bridge looking west. If it is possible, can we get a tower cam or an MDOT cam on that? Because we may have a tornado visible on a camera. That would be very helpful if we could get a view of that. I'm going to keep on looking for, once again, that is the camera on I-10 west, west of the Pascagoula River Bridge. That MDOT camera would be where we could potentially see this right now. Let's go, let me check our debris tracker again, see where this is currently located. Still moving northwards, very close to Dauphin Drive, and still moving quickly to the north, so north of Highway 90. So let's call out some more locations along this. So if you are north of I-10, this is still close by. This is moving quickly to the north. You still want to be in your safe place, but we do have, once again, the urgent call to action. You need to be in your safe place is Gaucher Van Cleve Road south of I-10. That's where we do have a confirmed tornado moving quickly to the north. I also want to go ahead and remind you guys what to do. Remember, to get to that safe place, you want to get to the lowest floor of a building. Make sure you are far away from windows. Put as many walls between you and an exterior wall as possible. Bathrooms, closets usually work really well, especially if they're close to the center of a building. Let me see if we can go ahead and get another look of this storm again. We're going to continue every about 4 to 5 minutes is when the radar updates. I also want to check that storm behind it is getting close to land as well. It looks like that is still showing some rotation as well, and it is nearing the very bottom end of this tornado warning. So let's go ahead and look at the debris tracker again. I see it looks like we have not gotten an update just yet. Radar scans still coming in, but looking at the wind plots, it is still fairly tight right there, very tight rotation, just moving alongside Westgate Parkway right now, moving to the north. Once again, this is, if you're just now joining us, this is a confirmed tornado in Jackson County, moving towards the north of to the north of 90, very close to Singing River Mall. I do know we are looking for an MDOT cam right now. It is I-10 west of Pascagoula River Bridge. Looking to the west is, I believe, where we might be able to see this storm fairly clearly on a camera. Let me see if I can find maybe a different view of this storm as well. While we're waiting for a new radar scan, just once again, if you're just now joining us, if you're near the Singing River Mall, north of I-90 or Highway 90, south of I-10 is where, actually there's a new radar scan right there. This is moving very quickly. The rotation is now moving across I-10 right now, very close to Hickory Hills. It is starting to veer a little bit to the east of Gaucher Van Cleve Road. Let's see if we got a new debris tracker with that. Yes, we did. Very strong debris signature crossing I-10 right now. This is very likely a tornado on the ground, possibly a strong one, as it is now crossing I-10, moving towards Hickory Hills. Let's look, if you're in the direct path of this, you have got to be in your safe place right now. We are looking, let me see if I can find some roads along here. Martin Bluff Road, Pine Cone Drive, that neighborhood there is in the direct path. Ferry Point Road, also in the path of this storm. I believe we have that MDOT camera now, if we could go to that, if we can see that storm. Try and get a better view of what we're looking at here. and the tornado warning has been extended. This tornado warning now goes for another 20 minutes, so until 10 a.m. still. But once again, this is a water spout that made landfall. You can see there on the tower cam, I believe we do have lots of traffic there. Now this is looking west of the Pascagoula River Bridge. It's not very clear. There's lots of rain. I do see traffic there. That is usually an indication that something did cross the road there. Let's see if I can see anything from where I am standing. Very slow moving traffic, that's for sure. I-10 westbound. Okay. I believe we're getting actually a new radar scan right now. And I also want to point out, if we could come back to radar, there we go. The storm right behind this is coming up along the same path. It's got a very strong rotation signature. So I'd say there is definitely a water spout just south following this storm. So we now have two storms in the mix that are potentially giving off that signature that we do have either a water spout or tornado in progress. So this is definitely a situation where you want to be paying very close attention. Let me see if I can get a debris tracker back on. Okay, here we go. This is still, it looks like this is just now crossing I-10. So once again, a tornado on the ground based on this debris signature. I would say possibly a strong tornado on the ground just now crossing I-10, moving north very quickly just east of Gaucher Van Cleve Road. If you're in Hickory Hills, if you're along Martin Bluff Road or any of those small side roads along or near Martin Bluff Road, you've got to be in your safe place. This is moving north very quickly, like you saw on those previous scans. Let me get some more. Let's see what else. Van Cleve, you are inside of this warning. And let me see if I can make sure I get this to pop back up. Here's the warning box. Van Cleve, you are inside of this warning. You also have Highway 63. The west side of Hurley is inside of this warning. We're looking a little bit further down the road, so this is not going to be over at you for about another 15 to 20 minutes, but you do want to go ahead and start preparing. Make sure you're getting ready to move to your safe place. Hurley, Van Cleve, Big Point, anywhere along Highway 63. So really anywhere along the river delta is where we're really keeping a really close eye out. Excuse me. And well, as we continue to keep an eye, let me see if we got a new debris tracker, because that would be very helpful in this situation. I also see another small spot up here. Let me see if this is a separate storm. And I just got a message from the National Weather Service. They are also concerned about a very large water spout on that second storm. So let me check this real quick, and then we're going to go back to that other storm. I believe, yes, we have another very small area of rotation, possibly another area that we need to watch along Highway 614 near Old River Road, another area that's rotating. So within this one tornado warning, we have multiple storms that are posing threats to the area. Let me go ahead and let me see. Let's see if the National Weather Service has an option to get another warning on this. Let me see if we can. So what I'm doing right now, for those of you just joining us, we do have a confirmed tornado that just moved through Gaucher. It's now crossing I-10. And we have multiple storms inside of one tornado warning that are now showing signs of strong rotation. We're watching for maybe multiple tornadoes in multiple different storms, but all within the same tornado warning. So let me go and check on this storm as well. Where is this? Van Cleve. Okay, so let's go back to our wind plot. So you're seeing it here. This is the storm that triggered the tornado warning. This is a confirmed tornado. It's now moving through Hickory Hills. The good news is that this looks like it is starting to weaken based on this radar image. The one behind it, it is still offshore, so it has not moved on land yet, but that is a fairly strong rotation signature. I do believe, based on what I'm hearing from the National Weather Service, that is probably a waterspout, possibly a large waterspout that is moving towards Gauche. So the same area where the previous one just moved through, we have another one possibly on the way. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that one as well. I also want to check north of Van Cleve along Highway 614. There's another small area of rotation that I want to take a check on. Okay, I'm just now hearing that we do have Aztecas in Gauche has received damage. I have not seen pictures myself, but I do know that we are hearing that there is damage there. It looks like I'm also keeping a very close eye on the Facebook chat as well, because that is another spot we're keeping a close eye on to see if we can get any reports. That would be very nice, but just remember, do not go out there if you're inside of this tornado warning. You are much more important than getting pictures, so please do not go out there to go and try and get pictures. But once it is safe to do so, then damage reports would be very helpful. But just keep in mind, we have another storm behind this one, so it is definitely not safe to get out there. Let me make sure. Okay, let's go ahead and take, can we go, yeah, perfect, full screen on the radar. I want to show the wind plot once again. So very close, just north of Hickory Hills now. That rotation is still there. That is that same tornado. This is the one that triggered this tornado warning in the first place. Still observed tornado on the ground. This is now north of I-10, north of Hickory Hills. We're very close to, and just to the west of Coal Town. Fairly strong rotation still, so let's definitely keep an eye on that one. I want to check that storm behind it as well. That is a waterspout that is offshore. It looks like it is heading towards Gauche. So a very similar area where we had that first storm already move through. And let's use our debris tracker. Okay, so this is really good news right here. On our debris tracker, we're not detecting as much of a signal. That may be a really good sign that this is no longer on the ground, at least with that first tornado. This warning is still in effect all the way through 10 a.m. because of that second one right behind it as well. So the tornado now has crossed north of I-10, moving out towards the delta. It does look like, based on radar images I'm getting, it looks like this has lifted off the ground near Hickory Hills. But looking at the wind plots here, we do have still a little bit of a tighter rotation just north of Hickory Hills. So we definitely want to keep a very close eye on that one. We can't lose sight of that one. I believe we do have an MDOT camera, is what I just heard from there in my earpiece. Do we have an MDOT camera we can take? All right, there we go. This looks like, is this Market Street south of I-90? Is this in Gauche? Or is this in Ocean Springs? We do have near Pascagoula. Yes. Okay, so this is that second storm that we're also watching very closely. The heaviest rain now moving into Pascagoula. This storm is the one that does have that waterspout that we have been watching. This one is behind the first storm, moving along a very similar track. So Gauche, Pascagoula, Moss Point, you're still not out of the clear yet. You still need to heed this warning. It is still, it looks like the National Weather Service has moved back to a radar indicated tornado. So it looks like that first tornado has lifted. However, it is still showing up. The rotation is still fairly strong here on the radar image, so I do not want to sound in all clear just yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like. And I'm looking at multiple radar images from multiple different sources real quick, and I think we have debris on the ground. I think we have debris being detected on the radar again. Let me see if I can get this new radar image. I think this is back on the ground, north of Hickory Hills, within the Ward Bayou Wildlife Management Area. We may have a tornado back on the ground, based on exactly what I'm hearing here. The tornado warning continues for Jackson County until, if they have extended this or not. They have not extended this. So this is still continuing until 10 a.m. And we do have a correction coming from the National Weather Service in Slidell. They have now confirmed this is back on the ground now, just north of Hickory Hills. It's that first tornado, once again, briefly lifted off the ground as it moved through the Hickory Hills area. It is now back on the ground and still moving north. This is going to pass directly in between Van Cleve and Three Rivers. So this is moving out into an area where we have very close to and right in between Three Rivers, Van Cleve, Big Point. Those areas were kind of directly in between those. So we're out in where we are seeing like the rivers, so not necessarily over land at this time. But let's go ahead. Let me see if I can get that radar plots to come back. Let's see where the wind plot currently is showing. A very strong rotation. This is very close to Pinecone Drive, just to the east of Martin Bluff Road. It looks like this is starting to move out over the delta. So away from lands now, starting to move into the delta, but directly ahead, it's going to be moving very, very close to Rogers Bend Road if it has not passed there already. Of course, this is moving very quickly, so these radar scans may be a little outdated as well. You can see if you're in the path of this along Highway 63, Lampkin Road, Southgate Drive. Let's see, we also have Pascagoula River Road. You are in the path of this system, and it is once again moving very quickly to the north. It's actually turning a little bit to the east. You just saw that recent scan came in. It's moving a little bit more to the east, so it looks like it is out over the rivers right now, just to the west of Coaltown, but it is continuing to move to the north. With that jog a little bit to the east, this brings it a little bit closer to Highway 63. So now we are moving more into north of Moss Point, very close to Coaltown, and just north. We're a little bit to the north of the Trent Lott Airport at this point, where we are seeing that rotation still there. Let's see if we can get the debris tracker back. There it is. Yes, so that does confirm to me, and that confirms to the National Weather Service as well. This is back on the ground, but it does look like it is moving out over the rivers. So more of a waterspout at this point, as it is moving parallel to Highway 63, jogging a little to the north and the east of where you're seeing that debris ball. That's those lighter colors there on the radar is where we're detecting debris up in the air. This is just to the east of Rogers Bend Road. So if you live close to there, this is passing just to your east, just to the west of Coaltown, just to the west of Highway 63 north of Moss Point. Let's go check that second storm. So now a little bit of time has passed. We do have So there's some good news here. This the second rotation, that second storm does look like it is starting to broaden out a little bit, not nearly as tight of rotation. So that's a good trend there, but we still cannot rule out another waterspout moving in. And let's see, I do have from the National Weather Service, we do have some video of the tower cam from MDOT, the I-10 west of Pascagoula River Bridge. They did use that to actually confirm this tornado. So that is why that warning is still there. That's why we do have still the observed tag. That does mean that this tornado is on the ground. Now, let me go ahead and take another check of our debris tracker. It's not producing a lot of debris now that this is out over water. You can see this is the last point that it was detected at, where we did have a signature. And now this could be anything. The radar is detecting just something being thrown up into the air. It could be leaves. It could be anything that this tornado picks up along its path. And let me see, do we have any more damage reports, as I am trying to look for some? Let's see. Have our tornado watch. Okay, and our tornado watch continues. So the National Weather Service has also confirmed the tornado watch will continue. Of course, they're adjusting this every 30 minutes to make sure it stays accurate. And I'm kind of filtering through some of our Facebook comments at the moment. Let me see if we have any words. Okay. Let me go ahead. Let me turn back to the National Weather Service. Let me see if they have an update here. I see a couple more messages are now coming in. And they're going to continue this tornado warning all the way through 10 o'clock. Of course, we do have an observed tornado. That means that it was, or at least was very recently, on the ground. Looking at the debris tracker here, you're looking at that blob behind me. That is the debris tracker, and once again, that is detecting anything in the air that isn't perfectly circular, that isn't perfectly being detected here by the radar to be not rain, but something else. Now, let me check that storm right behind us as well. Once again, a second storm is coming in back behind this system. And let's see.
That's from Gaucher's map.
Okay, so we do have Aztecas is reporting damage. We have damage to the roof there. We have power lines that are down, trees down at MGCCC. And so we do need to keep an eye on that. Thank you. That is very helpful there. And we're going to continue to keep an eye out for more of these damage reports. Of course, let me check that second storm back behind this one. Of course, we were tracking two separate storms with this same tornado warning. And as a matter of fact, I believe we just got a new tornado warning there. That is observed still on the ground. This is back at that first storm. So let's jump back real quick. We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It is still on the ground, moving quickly to the north. So now we are just north of Moss Point, very close to Three Rivers, very close to Big Point, moving towards Hurley as well. So these areas are inside. Let me pull that warning box back up. So we have a second tornado warning now in effect all the way until 10:45. This is still that first storm that we were watching, as this was a waterspout that made landfall in Gaucher, crossed Highway 90, and is now quickly moving to the north and east. This new tornado warning, this is going to be for Big Point, Three Rivers, and Hurley. So if you're along Highway 63 or south of Highway 63, you've got to be in your safe place. This is still confirmed on the ground and is moving to the north and the east very quickly. I do believe it is currently out over the rivers. If we can, there's the debris tracker once again. This crossed just to the east of Rogers Bend Road about 5 minutes ago now. So this is probably much closer to Highway 63. Lambkin Road, Wolf Ridge Road, you guys have to be in your safe place. Kelly Circle, Sandy Wood Lane, these are some of these smaller roads directly in the path of this storm. Pascagoula River Road, let me check for a hail signature as well. Of course, some of these storms do have multiple threats with them, and hail sometimes being one of those. And good news, at least we do not have a hail signature with this storm, so the main concern is mainly going to be just the tornado. Let's look at this wind plot again. Let's see if we can find where this is moving. So once again, still over the rivers as of right now, but it is moving quickly to the north and the east. So we do have along Highway 63, you definitely need to be in your safe place if you're north of Moss Point, especially Wolf Ridge Road, Big Point Road, We have Freeman roads, anywhere near Three Rivers, Pascagoula River Road. These areas have got to be in their safe place because you do have a confirmed tornado moving in that direction. Check our debris tracker again. Okay, a slightly weaker debris tracker here. That's a good sign. This is very likely still on the ground, but at least it is showing signs of weakening. It is also currently moving over the rivers. So that's another thing we do want to keep an eye on. The less debris could mean it is kind of transitioned back over water. So we do still need to keep a very close eye out on this. Let me go ahead while we're waiting for new scans to continue coming in. Let's go ahead and back up a little bit and let's go ahead and look at elsewhere across the area. We do still have several storms moving through Jackson County. So it's not just this one storm. We have several of them moving in a line. So we could also develop a flash flooding threat from this. We have several storms moving in the line, producing some very heavy rainfall. And we do want to keep a very close eye on that as well. Let's go ahead and see how much rain we've gotten over about the past 12 hours. So beginning overnight, you can see especially Van Cleve, just north of Van Cleve, over 2 inches of rain. Pascagoula, 5.5 inches of rain. Southern George County, 3 inches of rain. So very heavy rainfall rates in this area, lots of rain already. And of course, with 2-3 more storms coming all in a straight line, that does give us the potential for that much more of a flood threat to follow some of these storms. So let's go back to our wind plot here. Let's see if we can get an update. You can see it looks like some slight tightening here as we do have some messaging from the National Weather Service. We have a downstream, so that is going to be, we are going to be monitoring the second storm, the one back behind this one that I have talked about a few times. They are going to be watching for a tornado warning with that one. So if you're just now joining us, let me recap what we've seen so far. We had a water spout. It did touch down, make landfall very close to Gaucher. This moved across Highway 90. We do know that there was damage to the roof at the Aztecas, and this is very quickly moving up to the north, nearing Highway 65 or 63 north of Moss Point. So, and we have another tornado warning that was just issued. This one is radar indicated for that second storm back behind it, that other water spout that I was watching. Now, you're seeing images here. These are, I believe this is the Aztecas. This is where the damage is being indicated. I believe my earpiece is out of battery. So if you, I am not hearing my director in my earpiece right now. But I do believe that these are some pictures of the Aztecas in Gaucher. This is where that tornado did pass. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let me grab some new batteries. This would, yeah, thank you very much. So once again, if you're just now joining us, we do have a second tornado warning that was just issued. This is a radar indicated tornado warning. This is for the second storm that I have been talking about, the one much closer to Pascagoula. This is once again a water spout that was approaching land and is strong enough to continue moving to the north. My earpiece is back on. If I could, there we go. I can hear myself now. That's usually a good sign. Yes, and I can hear my director as well. Let's look at the storm in Pascagoula. This is now a second tornado warning. It's radar indicated because we do not have a confirmed tornado from this one, but this is moving into Pascagoula right now. Some fairly tight rotation, very close to Ingalls right now. So we do want to keep an eye on this as well. This is also moving to the northeast, so following a very similar track as that first one. Let's go back to our radar here, and you can see the two different warnings. They are now both radar indicated. I believe that is because we have the debris from that first one is not very strong anymore. That's a good sign. That means that this is likely no longer on the ground. But we do want to we still want to pay very close attention. We've seen this happen already. It lifts back up on the ground and it's very quickly going to come back down. We've seen that happen already. So even if you're in this tornado warning, I would continue to be very cautious, especially Hurley. You want to be very, very cautious there as this is going to continue to move to the north. It has shown signs of strengthening and weakening. It's gone through that pattern a couple of times. And I believe we just got another update on that tornado warning. It is back on the ground. So very close to Hurley. I believe we have another tornado. This is that first one, like I was just talking about, lifted momentarily. It is back on the ground. So let me look at this on radar real quick. Let me see if I can find exactly what the National Weather Service was looking at. I believe it is this small rotation, so it is still coming across the rivers, very close to the Three Rivers, very close to Big Point, very close to Highway 63. That is now back on the ground for a third time now. This has lifted and come back down to the ground multiple times now. It's that first tornado that triggered the very first tornado warning that made us come and break into broadcasting. And this is once again for a third time back down on the ground, moving across Highway 63 in between Three Rivers and Big Point. This is moving towards Hurley. So Wade, Hurley, anywhere along Highway 63, 613, and 614, you want to go ahead, move to your safe place because this tornado is in fact back on the ground and still maintaining that same path, moving to the north and east of its location. Let me go ahead and check our debris tracker once again. I don't think this small debris up here, I don't think that this is from the tornado. I think that is where we were seeing the earlier debris. The one that I'm watching is going to be this one back down here along Highway 63. That's where we do have evidence that this tornado either recently came back down onto the ground or has remained on the ground. I also want to take a look at the second storm over in Pascagoula. Cannot forget about that one because this is the second storm. It was a strong water spout that was out in the sound. It was following this first storm, kind of moving along the same path, but now it has its own tornado warning. It is radar indicated. Let's go take a look at the wind plot. Let's see if we can find this one. It does look like this one is starting to tighten a little bit. This passed directly, it looks like this just passed over Ingalls and is moving into downtown Pascagoula. It does look like this rotation, at least on this radar scan, is beginning to tighten. So this is currently located, the tightest rotation is very close to 13th Street. It is moving northwards towards 14th Street, towards Hospital Street. If you're just south of Highway 90, just outside of downtown Pascagoula, then you definitely want to move to your safe place now. This is a second tornado. It's that water spout that was following the first one. It is now moving. I do believe we have an MDOT camera we can go to. If you could repeat the street name. Market Street. Okay, let's head that way. This is Market Street in Pascagoula. We do now have flooding. I was just talking about that as well. We have multiple storms running over the same area. All of these are producing very heavy rainfall. Some parts of Pascagoula already over 2 or 3 inches of rain. And you can see a car trying to go through that there. You definitely don't want to be doing that. Especially it takes only about 3 to 6 inches of moving water to pick up a car. So you definitely don't want to attempt to pass through some of these flooded roadways. And definitely if it's still raining as heavy as some of these storms are producing, you definitely don't want to be out there in this. Go ahead, stay in your safe place. Pascagoula, Moss Points. This is still moving to the north and east. Escatapa, as well as along I-10 all the way from the Moss Point exit to the Alabama-Mississippi border. You are still within that tornado warning. Let's go ahead and move to the one up to the north. Now this is where we do have the observed tornado or a confirmed tornado. This is back to that very first one, the one that triggered the tornado warning all the way down in Goche. And this one is still moving to the north and east. It's passing through Three Rivers, very close to Big Point right now, on its way towards Hurley. So especially if you live in between Highway 63, Highway 613, and south of 614, you need to stay in your safe place. This is that tornado that has continued to lift and then return to the ground. As of right now, it is very likely still on the ground at this time. Let's see if we can get, there's a debris tracker, and that has actually strengthened. Very close to Three Rivers, we have a much stronger debris signature, very, very close to Highway 63. This is directly along Pascagoula River Road. This is why I was saying you have got to stay in your safe place if you're in that area. This is back on the ground, a very strong debris signature from radar, indicating that this is still picking up things and throwing it into the air. The radar is detecting things still being picked up and thrown. And so this is moving along Pascagoula River Road north into Three Rivers. So Delta Roper Road, Kelly Circuits, we have Sandy Wood Lane. These areas, you want to stay in your safe place. You need to be, if you're not there already, you have got to move there and stay there for now. Remember, if you are needing to look for a safe place, you've got to find the lowest floor of the building, put as many walls between you and the outside. So usually a bathroom or a closet on the lowest floor, something very far away from windows or exterior walls. That's going to be your safest spot as this continues to move through the area. Let's go back to radar and see both of these storms now that are continuing to move both to the north and east. And it looks like we have, no, okay, so the tornado warning does still go from Pascagoula all the way past I-10 to the Mississippi-Alabama border. Once again, the southern storm, the one moving through Pascagoula right now, is radar indicated because we don't have a debris signature on radar. The one to the north is that same tornado we have seen pick itself up and end up back on the ground. It has now done that 3 times now, and it is currently on the ground again. That is a confirmed tornado. It is now crossing Highway 63, very close to Big Point. Very close to the Three Rivers as well. We're also looking at let's check the debris tracker. I know the most recent update was near Pascagoula River Road. And that debris signature is still there. So we have not gotten a new update on there yet, but we do see pretty clearly there that that debris signature has strengthened from the previous scans. That does indicate that this is definitely still on the ground and is certainly still picking things up from the ground. So once again, Three Rivers, south of Wade, south and west of Hurley, you've got to be in your safe place right now. This is coming across the rivers. It's starting to move back onto land. We saw that debris tracker really start to pick up as it did so. And once again, let's go ahead and check the other storm, because now we are tracking 2 storms. This one is now moving through downtown Pascagoula. That, based on radar, I'm going to say that looks like that is starting to strengthen just a little bit. And let's see. Here is that rotation that is in downtown Pascagoula. We do have a meteorologist, Chief Meteorologist Eric Johnson has joined me now. Do you have any other information on this?
Yeah, Aaron, we're just keeping an eye on both of these tornado warnings for Jackson County. Just looking at things from behind the scenes. As you take a look at the radar screen again, Aaron, great job tracking these 2 tornado warnings that have been moving into Jackson County. Of these 2 tornado warnings, the one that is to the north until 10:45, that is the one that has the confirmed or observed radar observed tornado. That goes until 10:45, and the one further south is the radar indicated tornado warning for Pascagoula, as Aaron was just saying. And again, we have been getting some reports of some damage around Goche from that first tornado warned storm. Right now, as we take a look at that first tornado warning, let's just go ahead and take a look at the winds inside of this storm. And I will say this, and it looks like we're just getting an update now, which is some good news. And I think Aaron would agree with me here when we're looking at the wind product here. We're not seeing the strong rotation that we were seeing earlier. and it looks like the National Weather Service has gone ahead and dropped the observed tag on this. And Aaron, if you can chime in if you see that in chat, looks like maybe they have updated that warning. But again, that is some good news. Let me pull up that information and let's see. So, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Wade, or 8 miles north of Escatawpa, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. This is a radar indicated rotation. Okay, so that is no longer a radar confirmed tornado. However, that is still a dangerous storm because we know that it has had a history of producing tornadoes. So let's just go ahead and put the tornado warnings up here. Both of them side by side. So these are the two locations that are under the tornado warnings. A little bit closer look, and that latest positioning had the circulation near Wade crossing Highway 614. That would be heading up towards Hurley and Highway 613. All this is moving off towards the east northeast. So eventually Harleston, Hurley, Wade, all those locations need to be taking your tornado precautions. I will say for Three Rivers and Big Point, it does look like maybe the threat is beginning to diminish, but you're still under that warning, so still take your tornado precautions. And this storm down here, a little bit further south, over into southern Jackson County, we put the radar back on, the reflectivity, and we can see this storm has had a history of rotating. And at the moment, we haven't had any report. Okay.
That is now.
Okay, so this is now a radar confirmed tornado, and it looks like the latest from the National Weather Service has put this tornado warning. Let me pull up the information. So this is a considerable tag. So it's possible that we have a strong tornado on the ground. There we go. Okay, so all right, here it is. If you live near Arlington Heights Elementary School, if you live north of Orchard Avenue, this is in Pascagoula on Old Mobile Avenue, Long Avenue, Maid Marian Drive. If you live around Highway 611, south of Highway 90, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. We now have a strong tornado confirmed on the radar by the National Weather Service, so go ahead, take your tornado precautions in those locations. So Highway 90, if you live near Highway 90, Chico Street, Industrial Road, Service Road, this is going to be near Edward Memorial Park, Parkway Baptist Church, just south of Jefferson Avenue. Let's go ahead and take your tornado precautions. And if y'all are listening at the control room, if we have an MDOT tower cam or an MDOT camera around Highway 611 and Highway 90 in Jackson County, let's go ahead and pull that up if we can, because we now have what is
currently hearing that the MDOT cameras have gone out in that area.
Okay, thank you for that. Aaron is telling me that the MDOT cameras have gone out in this location, so that's never that is never good news right there.
The
so.
National Weather Service chat has just put in, we do have houses damaged on Catalina Street.
Houses damage on Catalina Street. Are they confirming that this Pascagoula?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the Pascagoula tornado.
Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to the debris tracker here. And I will say that the debris tracker is not really lining up as well with the radar velocity, so we're going to stick with the velocity.
We actually have video of the tornado. I'm hearing in my earpiece right
Okay,
now.
is this live video?
It is not live.
And which tornado was, and which video was this? Okay,
This is the Gaucher.
okay, so we do have video of the Gaucher tornado, but we're going to focus right now on the tornado. Yeah, so this was earlier. So storms have had a history of producing tornadoes, but I'm going to ask the control room, let's switch back over to the radar, because this tornado warning for Pascagoula is much more significant at the moment. For the east side of Pascagoula, on the east side of heading towards Arlington Heights Elementary School, north of Orchard Avenue, and again, this is moving pretty fast, up towards Frederick Street, Creole. East Moss Point needs to be watching this very closely now. Let's go ahead and switch back over to the radar, please, so we can go back over towards Jackson County near Pascagoula if we can. There we go. Thank you so much. All right, so again, East Moss Point, you need to be watching this. We do have what is a radar confirmed tornado and what the National Weather Service considers perhaps a significant tornado possibly. So here's the latest radar, the latest information. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Moss Point, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. So let's go ahead, switch back over to the velocity and put this back into motion. So again, and Aaron, if you are getting updates in the chat, please feel free. Let's make sure that Aaron's mic is on so he can talk as well.
I know we haven't gotten this on our debris tracker yet, but I'm looking on a separate app on my phone trying to get a later scan. And it does look like we have a very large debris ball moving along Highway 90. So the most recent scan of our debris tracker hasn't gotten into our system yet, but it does look like the latest scan from the Mobile radar is showing a pretty significant signature very close to Highway 90, just right before the intersection of 611.
Okay, thank you for that, Aaron. And it looks like maybe we're getting a new update on the tornado warning text here. So let me pull that up from the National Weather Service. Okay, just coming in at 10:20, a confirmed tornado was located over Moss Point, moving northeast at 10 miles per hour. Radar confirmed tornado. And again, when it says radar confirmed, that means that the radar has indicated debris being lifted up by this tornado. It says this will be near Moss Point and Helena around 10:25 a.m., so it's moving pretty fast. This includes Interstate 10 and Mississippi between mile markers 69 and 76. So again, observed tornado, radar confirmed tornado. Tornado will be near Moss Point and Helena around 10:25 a.m. according to the National Weather Service warning text there. Let's see. 1021, okay. I am not seeing new scans coming in on this radar vantage point. Are you seeing new scans over there, Aaron?
I just got a new scan of the wind plots, and it does look like it has somewhat broadened out. It's not as tight as it was, which is usually a very good sign. However, here's that debris tracker. I think this is a slight update from the previous one. That does reflect what I was seeing on my phone, where we do have some debris now very close to Highway 90 and Highway 63. That intersection in Pascagoula is the most recent location where debris was detected using this debris tracker here. Lining this up with velocity, it does look like this is, at least on this image here, you can see that the tightest rotation is moving across Frederick Street right now, very close to Highway 63. So that is where this tornado is likely still on the ground, because we do still have a debris tracker lining up a little bit better than it was on those previous scans.
Yeah, Aaron, I would agree with what you're saying there. The velocity right now is not as tight as it was, which is sort of why it looks like the National Weather Service just took that considerable tag off of the warning, but still treat this like a dangerous situation, as again, we've already had reports of damage from some of these storms. And I'm just getting this in from the newsroom from our Assistant News Director, Rayanne. Let's see, Mayor Casey Vaughn says there was a damage to Glenmark Apartment and Riverbend condominiums. Those are off Martin Bluff Road. Also roof damage to Azteca's restaurant, which we've already talked about earlier. And there are power lines and trees down at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. That's going to be for that first tornado warn storm earlier. So, so we've already seen that these storms are capable of putting down quick tornadoes. And that's why we need to take these tornado warnings fairly seriously. Let's go in the control room. If we can switch over to Max 2, put that up on the screen there. I know both of those screens look very similar, but if we can switch to Max 2, we have the wind speed and direction to show a little bit closer view of kind of what me and Aaron were just talking about, of that we're not seeing the circulation as tight as it was. Looks like we're still on max 1. Okay, here we are, max 2 there. So if we switch over here, and you can see what we're always looking for is the reds and greens really close together. That tells us where the circulation is. And what we're seeing right now is that the circulation is not as tight. Usually, whenever these couplets are a little bit more wound up, that gives us a higher confidence that there is a tornado. And what we're looking at, the trends here, if I put this into motion, it looks like we had that circulation moving up towards Moss Point, East Moss Point, and perhaps another one over towards Old Mobile Avenue. And it does look like both of those have broadened, which is some good news, but areas that are still in the warning still need to be taking this seriously. So again, if you live in Ford, East Moss Point, over into down Highway 90, the Pecan community, over into I-10, Helena, and that was mentioned in the warning, Helena, over towards Forts Lake Road, Cherry Valley Road. Let's go ahead and make sure you're taking your tornado precautions. Now, I do want to briefly switch over back to our other tornado warning, and Aaron, I don't think we've seen any updates on this, and I think you would also agree here. We're not seeing that tight circulation for this northern tornado warning that includes Wade, Hurley, and Harleston. It looks like those circulations have broadened, but when we switch over to the tornado warning only map, these are the locations that are under the tornado warning. So Wade, Hurley, and Harleston, do continue to take your tornado precautions because, again, we've had the history of these storms putting down quick spin up tornadoes in a very short amount of time. They can go from nothing to something really fast. So we just want to make sure that you're taking your tornado precautions within that storm. Just giving a wider view, a little bit overview here. The only storms that we're really tracking right now are in Jackson County, and the most severe storm at the moment is in southeastern Jackson County, and it is going to be for this tornado warning that goes until 10:45. Aaron, do we have any updates from the National Weather Service with this particular warning?
So what I am seeing right now, they have mentioned the exact same thing we were just talking about. The Pascagoula storm has weakened per the National Weather Service. However, the environments and the other storms around it do have a history of going ahead and putting a tornado back on the ground, kind of like what we saw with that previous storm. So that's why the tornado warning is going to continue. It does look like at least the rotation is weakening quite a bit. However, we do want to pay very close attention to this because it is very possible we could see this re-strengthen down the road.
Okay, I think we have a tower, an MDOT cam, if we can pull that up. And you said on Grierson Street. Let's go ahead and pull that up so we can see. Okay, so this is Highway 63 north of Grierson Street, and again, these storms putting down a lot of heavy rain. You can barely see what looks like, I believe, headlights heading down the highway there. But these storms are putting down a lot of heavy rain in a very short amount of time. We saw on Market Street earlier in downtown Pascagoula, the flooding there from these storms, from the heavy rain that they're producing. So yeah, these storms are putting a lot of heavy rain, some strong gusty winds as well. So definitely not a good morning to be out on the road. Here's another look again at the radar. If you're just tuning in, there is a tornado warning continuing for southeastern Jackson County until 10:45. It does include Moss Point, East Moss Point, and the east side of Pascagoula there. There is also another tornado warning to our north that includes Wade, Hurley, and Harleston. That also goes until 10:45. And like we've been saying, that one has shown some signs of weakening. So our main focus has been this storm over into southeastern Jackson County. Looks like I might be getting a new velocity scan or a wind speed and direction scan. And again, I'm not seeing the very tight circulation that we were seeing earlier. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly where there might be a circulation, as we're not really seeing it very tight. So that's why if you just live in the tornado warning, you need to be taking your tornado precautions, because this storm has had a history of rotating and producing tornadoes. Here's Grierson Street and Highway 63. So where we were just looking at on the tower on the MDOT cam is basically right here on that MDOT cam there near, looks like, let me zoom in here and get some closer looks at the Greater Life Tabernacle. So pretty close there, pretty close to Mayo Junior High School as well. So, okay, you just saw that scan right there. We got a new scan here, and it does look like that circulation is tightening up again, maybe around Frederick Street and Highway 63 and East Moss Point. So more so, it looks like that circulation is more along Highway 63. Let me slide the map over just a little bit. So again, if you live near Creole Elementary School, Creole Christian Academy, Creole, Blackwell Street, Highway 90, East Moss Point, those locations need to be taking your tornado precautions while we continue to see that circulation retighten up again. And these storms have been putting down tornadoes pretty fast this morning. So we don't want you to play around with these storms. If you live within the tornado warning, even though, okay, let's pull up Frederick Street. I believe we do have Frederick Street in downtown Pascagoula right now. Okay, it doesn't look too terribly bad right there at the moment on Frederick Street. So on Highway 63 and Frederick Street, if we can, so we got a car right there on the highway. Not a good idea to be on the road this morning with these storms, but you know, if we go back to the radar, I can show you where that is. So basically what we were just looking at is about right there on Frederick Street and Highway 63. If I pull up the radar velocity or the reflectivity, we can see this product just shows us where the heavy rain is falling. We still have a lot of heavy rain. And let me just zoom out here and just get an overall. Sometimes it's good to just kind of zoom out, get an idea. And I think Aaron would even agree with me here. What we're seeing is maybe another inflow notch developing with this storm. So that circulation may be broadening up a little bit. What do you think, Aaron?
Yes, I would think so as well. I would also like to note that we are seeing this storm slow down a little bit. Now, we have been saying that we do have, well, several of these have been moving very quickly. The trend I've noticed here over about the past couple of radar updates is that the actual circulation is slowing down. It's kind of hovering over that same area for the past couple of scans. So that could be another thing that we do want to think about. If you're in the path of this, maybe you hear the rain quiet down or the wind quiet down, you think, oh, I think it's over. Well, not necessarily. You want to make sure you stay in that safe place as long as this warning is still there, because we are still seeing parts of the storm really starting to slow down a little bit in terms of how fast it was moving. It was very quick when it did first move through Ingalls, through downtown Pascagoula. But I do think at least those past 2 or 3 radar scans here, it has really slowed down. It really hasn't moved very much. I do believe we have the WLOX First Alert C Spire Storm Tracker out there. We are heading towards Pascagoula. If someone could tell me, do we know exactly where this is?
That's going to be, so this is going to be Highway 90, and it's right there in Biloxi. So the storm tracker is en route to Jackson County, but right now it is not in any of the storms, Aaron.
Okay. We just got a update on that tornado warning, by the way, if we could go back to that. And it looks like they have told me here on the National Weather Service chat that it is in fact strengthening again. They're going to keep that warning going.
Yeah, Aaron, I would agree with what the National Weather Service is saying there. And you're looking at the radar screen right here. This is just the reflectivity, what you're used to always kind of looking at, maybe on your phone or what we show on the TV screen there. But the reflectivity shows us how heavy the rain is falling within the storm. But one of the telltale signs of rotation in a thunderstorm is when we start to get what we call that hook echo, and I'm going to highlight what I'm talking about right here. So that little spot right there where it sort of looks like a hook developing on the northeast side of Pascagoula and south side of Moss Point, you could argue that that's where what the National Weather Service is talking about, that we're starting to see another rotation try to tighten up a little bit. And when we look at the velocity, we call it, when we say velocity, what we mean is how the wind is moving within the storm. And this is what it looks like. And just to kind of give you a point of reference here, the radar is actually located, that yellow circle I just put there. So the radar that we're using is located in Mobile, and these greens and yellows indicate whether the raindrops are moving towards the radar or away from the radar. And when they're moving toward and away in a very close pattern like what we're seeing over towards Moss Point or just south of Moss Point in that direction, that tells us that we have somewhat of a circulation developing. And again, it looks like it is still over East Moss Point and south of Moss Point on Highway 63. So let's go ahead, continue to take your tornado precautions in Jackson County. I'm going to take off all this. Sometimes it's easier just to see the actual box. Who needs to be taking their tornado precautions? If you live in Moss Point, East Moss Point, northeast side of Pascagoula, let's just say from Orchard Avenue up towards Highway 90, towards the Pecan community, up towards Helena, and all the way up towards Cherry Valley Road, let's just say just to the south of Big Point. Let's go ahead and take your tornado precautions, as these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. And I'm getting word in my ear that we have video from the tornado developing. Okay, so we don't have it in just yet, but I believe we have video from the storms earlier that were around Goche that were producing the tornadoes. So again, just to reiterate, the only tornado warning we have right now is the one in southeastern Jackson County. I will argue that perhaps maybe, let me switch over, okay. It did look like maybe there was a little bit of a circulation south of Highway 614, but I see that as just ground clutter, so we're not worried about that. But this storm over in the southeastern Jackson County is still giving us problems. We still need to be taking your tornado precautions. We've had reports of damage with some of these storms today. While there have been signs of it cycling, and that's very typical with these rotating thunderstorms, they'll cycle, they'll tighten up, and then they'll drop a tornado, and then they weaken, then tighten up again. Right now, it's sort of in that weaker phase, but we are just waiting for new radar scan to come in. And it generally takes about 5 minutes or so for a new scan to come in. And I think we just got a new scan right there. And I'm going to switch over.
The National Weather Service just sent another message out in our chat here that tornado warning there in East Moss Point now is tightening up quite a bit.
Yep.
And they do say that it looks like it is likely that this is possibly going to be back on the ground soon.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think that definitely coincides with what we're just plotting here on the screen there. So on the wind speed and direction here. So remember, the radar is located in Mobile. So this negative number tells us the winds are going this way, parallel to Highway 90. And the positive number, of the red colors, tell us it's going the opposite direction. So what we have is a circulation that is developing in this area, pretty much on highways where 611 and Highway 90 is, south of East Moss Point, is sort of that same spot that we've been kind of eyeing where that circulation is trying to develop. So go ahead, continue to take your tornado precautions as we'll put this into motion. You can track where you see those two couplets, or what we call a couplet, the tightening of the red and green together, showing the winds going in opposite directions, moving pretty much up Highway 90 almost from Pascagoula. You can see that pretty clearly on the map. Let's head back over to Aaron for some updates.
If we could quickly switch back to Max 1, of course, we've been continuing to say, hey, take your tornado precautions, make sure you're following instructions. What we actually mean by that, you want to get to that lowest floor of the building. You want to be as far away from windows or exterior walls. These are walls within the building that are touching the outside. So usually a closet, a bathroom, something very close to the center of the building, something that in the event that debris is flying through the air, it can't just come through a wall or window and hit you. It's got to make it through many, many walls, and that keeps you a lot safer, especially if you're going to be under these tornado warnings for a long period of time. Looking at the radar once again, let me bring that warning box back up. So you can see it's these same areas that we have continued to talk about, really to the south and east of Moss Point, for sure. If you're, as a reference, along I-10, pretty much the tornado warning is right at the Moss Point exit there. Right before the Pascagoula River Bridge, and then that extends all the way to the Alabama-Mississippi border. So all of these areas, you want to stay in that safe place, get to that middle room away from windows, because this is, like we have been seeing, the trends are that this is starting to tighten up a little bit again. Of course, it is radar indicated at this time, but like we saw with the other storms, it is very easy for these to go ahead, bring the tornado back up, and then bring it back down.
And Aaron, what we have on the screen right here is viewer video. If you can tell us where, okay, this is going to be at the Aztecas in Goche, where that tornado quickly spun up there. I don't know if you just saw that on your television screen there at home, but this really just gives you an idea of why it's so important to take your tornado precautions quickly, no matter where you are in the warning, because look how fast that spun up in the parking lot there. Very, very dangerous situation. And I believe, Aaron, they're telling me we have another MDOT cam. Let's pull that up.
Yes, and that would be very close to where the circulation is. So you can see there very heavy rains, of course, on the north and east side of this storm. There is very heavy rainfall coming down right now. Let me check my hail tracker right now. This is I-10 west of the Welcome Center, by the way. It does not look like this storm is producing hail, which is a good thing. But we are definitely keeping a very close eye on some of our other concerns. Of course, the stronger winds within the core of this storm, as well as the main threat here, the tornado, which it does look like on the most recent scans, still continuing that tightening trend just a little bit. Very close to where Frederick Street meets Highway 90 is where this is currently located, and where the tightest rotation is there. Just like Eric was talking about, you have the two different colors, red moving away from the radar sites, green moving towards, and you can kind of see a little bit in here where you are getting those to kind of almost tighten a little bit more to where they're mixing in. What you're seeing, the rotation itself, I mean, if I could draw this out, so you're getting more of a tightening right there, and then you also have from the red side kind of that same pattern. So that's kind of what we're watching for there to be, if a tornado is going to form, if it's going to make it back down towards the ground, it's going to be very, very close or directly under where those two winds are meeting there in the middle. It looks like it's very, very close to Washington Boulevard here, at least on this most recent radar scan. Of course, we do get updates about every 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, Aaron, and that's a really good point. Radar, we always say this is what's happening now, but it does take about 5 minutes for the radar scan to go through and all the data to be processed. So a lot of times what you're looking at, there is a little bit of a delay. So even though what you're showing is where that circulation is kind of tightening up around Washington Boulevard, it is actually probably a little bit further down the road now, probably closer towards Orange Lake Elementary School and I would say that's why, again, all these locations that are in the tornado warning need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions as we saw in that video just a while ago, these storms are putting down very quick spin up tornadoes, and sometimes they're so fast that they may kind of pop up in between radar scans. And again, it takes 5 minutes for a scan to go through. If that tornado pops up in between those scans, then it's even a little bit more difficult to detect. That's why we have this large polygon, this big red box essentially, for all these locations being under the tornado warning. But I will say this, and this is what Aaron was just saying too. I've switched back over to the reflectivity now. So this is a old-fashioned look at the radar where you're seeing where the heavy rain is falling. And I will say this is probably the most well-defined hook echo I've seen all morning. Would you agree with that, Aaron?
Yes, that does look very well defined there.
So yeah, we're definitely getting an inflow notch there, and it looks like that is going to be over towards East Moss Point, so north of East Moss Point, essentially. Let's see if I can switch over and get some. Let me zoom in here. Get a few more streets in on this. So it looks like it'll be crossing that area of rotation. So East Moss Point here, Creole, we got Highway 90 heading up towards Orange Lake Elementary School. This is south of I-10, by the way. So the area that we're kind of focused in on is going to be this area between Highway 90 and I-10. Is where we're kind of focusing. We are getting, let's go back to the MDOT cam because that is going to be very close to the Welcome Center. The circulation is getting very close to the Welcome Center in Jackson County. Remind me, which direction is this looking at? Oh, okay, so we are looking west towards the storm. So the Welcome Center is underneath all this heavy rain at the moment. But we're looking off towards the west. We're looking in this direction towards the circulation. So what we're underneath is a lot of heavy rain and lots of traffic there as we're looking west. But the most dangerous part of the storm is where that circulation is, which is just south of I-10 and north of East Moss Point there. So again, go ahead, take your tornado precautions. I do want to see if we have a new velocity scan or wind speed direction scan. Let's see, it does look like one did just come in. And again, even though on the reflectivity, it does look more impressive when I switch back over. You have that hook right there, what we call a hook echo, and then you switch over. So what we're going to be looking for is rotation very close to this spot right here where that hook is. So when we switch over to the velocity, we do see a little bit of broad rotation in that same area where the reds and greens are. And if we plot some of these values here, that'll just give us, apologize, we're just doing kind of this analysis on the fly here. We plot some of these values, and they're not terribly strong, but it's the positive and the negative numbers that are close together that are concerning, because those negative values tell us the winds are going towards the radar, which is Mobile, the red away, so we're getting that counterclockwise circulation. So multiple things confirming there is rotation with this storm, and that's why the National Weather Service has put out that tornado warning for these locations. Aaron, are we getting any updates in the chat there?
So as of right now, they have reissued that tornado warning. Once again, kind of the same thing we have been talking about, where it's not radar indicated anymore. Of course, we don't see debris or anything like that, which is a good sign. However, it continues to show those signs of maybe trying to strengthen back up. You're also going to notice that new tornado warning box is very oriented. It's very tall. It's very north to south, covering a fairly large area because of how slow this storm has started to move. And it's also beginning to kind of drift a little bit further north. You're seeing, at least on the reflectivity, that area that we've been watching is starting to drift very, very close to I-10. I wonder maybe very soon if we get a look again at that tower cam, maybe see if we can see anything. I believe that is a new radar scan that just came in. is still showing maybe just a little bit tighter on the rotation there. There's that tower cam. You're still inside that really heavy rainfall on the north side of the storm as it continues to very slowly move north. But if you want to switch back, can we go to max 1 real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at here. And it's mainly very close to East Moss Point. You're looking here at where Highway 90 meets very close to, I believe that is Gerson Street, and that's where we're seeing kind of that tightest rotation. But once again, it takes a few minutes for this to process. So, and it's very slowly moving to the north and the east. And like we've seen that kind of trend where it is beginning to turn a little bit more to the north. So let me plot that for you. The rotation itself right here in this yellow circle, that's the tightest rotation I'm seeing on this radar scan right now. And it's beginning to kind of turn a little bit more in this sort of fashion, a little bit more to the north. So especially along I-10, it's getting very, very close to the interstate there. And it looks like we just got a new scan in as well. No, that's not.
And Aaron, looks like we did get an update on the tornado warning. If we want to hop back over to max 2, sorry there. I know it's confusing there, but in max 2, I'm pulling up a new update on that tornado warning from the National Weather Service. And I'm going to read off the warning text here just a little bit. So that tornado warning remains in effect until 11:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Helena or near Moss Point, moving north at 10 miles per hour. So they're kind of putting the motion now at 10 miles per hour to the north. But this storm is kind of moving a little erratically. It's kind of slowing down, like you were just saying, Aaron. I do just want to point out, though, somewhat, at least some temporary good news where that tornado warning is currently. It's beginning to cross over towards the Escatawpa River. So it's sort of in an area that is somewhat more of the river there, south of I-10, north of Highway 90. But sometimes in those open spaces, it does allow for the rotation to kind of tighten up a little bit. So I will say with a northward motion, that is drifting towards I-10. So here's the thing. If you have friends or family that might be traveling for some reason on I-10 in Jackson County, especially west of the Welcome Center, let's go ahead and just tell them, you know, hey, maybe just hold off if you're on the west side of Jackson County. Maybe hold off a little bit, let this storm pass by. If you know they're coming in from Alabama, say, hey, let's just hold on a little bit. Let's let that storm pass by and get out of the way, so there won't be any potential danger there traveling on I-10 there while this circulation is passing through. So, and I will say, with that new warning box, they did trim it a little bit. Aaron, you were just talking about how tall and elongated that tornado warning was. It looks like they trimmed it just a little bit, but it still does include Helena. It still includes, I would argue, the east side of Escatawpa over towards Moss Point and East Moss Point. I will argue that if you live along and west of Highway 63, I would say that the threat is beginning to diminish, as we've just sort of been seeing this really kind of take shape and really congeal. And here's a new radar scan. I will say it doesn't look as impressive. The hook echo does not look as impressive. So again, it's crossing the Escatawpa River at the moment, and it's about to cross I-10. So